So once you see what is inside this package, you are never going to want to buy a rooftop tent again. And the worst part is you cannot buy one in Australia even if you wanted to. So I'm sure you can guess what I did. I spent 6 months finding a supplier, talking to them, manufacturing, and then shipping all the way across the world, just so I could settle one question that I've been thinking about for years. And that question is a canopy camper the perfect camping and touring setup for you? But before we can go through the massive list of reasons why I wanted a canopy camper and why I think it's better than just a standard rooftop tent, I'm gonna have to build it and have a tour of the whole thing. There's box 1, which you would have seen me talking about, and this is box 2 here, which is the more tent section. So let's get to building. And yes, I'm aware, because I imported this, all of this work could be for nothing, and this may potentially just not even fit my car. So fingers crossed that there was nothing lost in communication and it is for my car and actually gonna work. All right, so if you have no idea what a canopy camper is, I'm gonna take this moment to explain while I kind of go and get everything out of the box. A canopy camper is pretty much an aluminium canopy that goes on top of your tub, not like a tray back canopy, with a rooftop tent that sits on top of it like you would imagine any other canopy and rooftop tent setup would. But the big difference is the floor of the rooftop tent and the roof of the canopy, which actually opens up pretty much like a pop-top troopy would. So you have your normal gastro rooftop tent and then a false floor that goes the length of the canopy and opens up into your bed so you can stand up in the tub and cook and do the dishes and whatever else. And then when it's time to go to bed, the roof that's popped up becomes part of the mattress. And then you have your bed back. I was also getting a little bit worried about how heavy this all is, but this pallet still weighs about 30, 40 kilos. So that is a win. Now the parts have all been laid out. It is time to have a look through the instructions. It is like 6 pages, 0 words, just diagrams. So hopefully this is going to be very easy, or these are very underprepared. I'm actually just going to go for a quick little test fit here just to see what I'm dealing with. Make sure that I have an idea of what I'm doing before I go cut seals. So I was very lucky that I had test fitted that, because this edge has an angle, this edge is straight, meaning that this is going to touch the back of the cab and this is going to go away from the cab towards the tailgate. So now I can start cutting and going and tighten everything up. So it's actually been really tricky so far, and I'm only like 1 step in. The hard part is trying to push these really short bolts through the rubber seal, because the rubber seal is probably a good centimeter thick, and that only leaves, obviously once it's compressed it's a lot less, but when you're trying to put the bolt through, you're having to clamp it together to get the bolt to go through. Tricky, but we've got to get it done. So now is probably a pretty good reason to talk about the first reason that I really wanted to get one of these. It's a reason and both something to think about if you think about getting one of these is a good idea, and that is the amount of time we are traveling per year. We're not just doing weekend trips here and there. We're trying to do at least 6 months every year out on the road, which is how I can justify the money for this. But in saying that, we'll be talking about the money and the cost of it a bit later. And because we're trying to travel so much each year, that's going to add a lot of context that you'll need for majority of the rest of the reasons that I'm going to talk about in this video. Because some of them might sound like a little bit silly reasons, but if you think about us living in this car for 6 months a year, you'll understand why these things are problems that I wanted to solve. And solve them we hopefully will do for less than a 30 or 40 grand canopy setup that doesn't even solve the main issues that I want to solve in this video. But the first real reason I went for this setup over anything else that's going to make a lot of these things I talk about in this video make a lot more sense is I really do not want to tow anything that's just a caravan, a camper trailer or whatever. If I'm going to tow, it's going to be a boat or a jet ski or something that is going to make the trip more fun. I don't want to be towing something that's just for us to sleep and cook in. I want that to be on the back of the car. And the reason that I'm outlining this is because majority of the reasons that I'm about to outline, a lot of you are going to be like, get a caravan, get a camper trailer. But keep that in mind that potentially in the future there will be a boat or something. So that's just not ideal for us. And now we've got those first 2 boring reasons out of the way. Let's get into the ones that you probably actually care about. And that reason is we really wanted somewhere to cook and do the dishes and stuff that was out of the elements. And I know some of you are going, well, don't go camping then. But you got to remember, 6 months at a time, the only thing that you do really miss at those stages is like somewhere that's out of the elements, that's not your bed, that you can actually just kick back and relax and do those chores that are a bit boring. And especially when you're in places like the Ningaloo or like the Outback, or even when we're up in the snow in the Vic High country in New South Wales, in the snowy mountains, you do kind of get over the bugs flying into your food while you're trying to cook because you have the light on, or you can't feel your hands while you're cooking dinner because it's -5 degrees. And I feel like having somewhere to cook that's out of the elements is just going to make it it way more enjoyable and mean we can do more stuff during the day because we can come back to camp, sit in the canopy, cook dinner in the dark, well, in the light because we'll put some good lights in there and not have to worry about a bunch of external factors. And then reason number 4 is super important as it is obviously going to be connected to the car. And that is that the setup and pack down speed is basically instant because we really like to move a lot, and being able to just quickly pack up, move spot, or even just you forgot something at the shops, you need to quickly run down to the shops, but you've already set up camp with this setup, means that's going to take a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And we have done a big time jump a couple weeks into the future from filming the start of that video because as you can see, the BT50 is tubless. I remember if I've explained this in a video before, but the reason that it is tubless is there was a crack in it. So we have a D-Max X-Terrain, like the top of the range one with the easy lift gas struts and the flares on there, and we are chucking it on. I thought it was going to be a bit of an easier job, but the reason it is not an easy job is I had to take the rear bar off because if not, I wasn't going to be able to lift it up and over and onto the back. I've got everything ready to go. I just need to drop the body lift mount on the tub so it matches the rest of the cabin. So off camera, I've kind of gone and finished this because it was pretty tedious pushing those bolts through the rubber seal. There's one thing I want to say now before I forget to say it. At the end of this video, this is all speculation. I have no idea how good this canopy camper is going to be, but this is the thinking why I chose it over any of the other setups that I've had in the past. So don't go and buy one until I've done my long-term review because it could be terrible or it could be sick. We'll see how it goes. After probably a month and a half, 2 months of having this thing and waiting for the tub to rock up, as you would have seen, the tub is on. Sorry, you will not have seen that. As you will see now, the new tub is on, looking fine. But I have to get this on because I've got to go down south tomorrow for a little concert thing. And I've got to pick up the kitchen because it's getting cut down there. So I need something enclosed to grab it with, and this is my only option. So I've got to stick the rubber seal on first. And how typical, it's just started raining. So I'm going to speed this up. Rubber seal looking good. Now it's time to flip it over and get it on the back. Just tell me when you want me to put it down. I'm actually kind of surprised with how good it looks on the car. Like I was kind of worried it might have been a little bit of an eyesore, but I've got to get this mounted up because I have until 12 o'clock. So I've got 2 hours to get it all mounted. Once again, we have fast forwarded a couple of days in the future and I'm gonna have to apologize. I chucked the rooftop tent on top of the canopy without filming any of it. We had to go to my friend's workshop and use the gantry crane. I didn't want to do anything unsafely, and having to worry about cameras and filming and all that stuff just gets really tricky, especially when you're working with like 100 kilos of weight up in the sky. But this is the part of the video you have all been waiting for, the tour of the rooftop canopy camper thing. I think the first one in Australia, and I'm doing this while it is bare bones because the next episode is going to be me building my kitchen full fit out touring setup that I've been working on for months. The reason I'm pointing over here is because it's kind of all there flat pack, and I'm really excited to get that put together and show you a bit more of why I wanted the canopy camper setup. Let's get into the tour. So we're going to start here just with the side of the canopy. One of my favorite things, and I think it's going to be really helpful, is this canopy has really big like open windows, whereas a lot of the like cheap ones I've seen, the windows are kind of here. So reaching in to grab stuff will be a bit of a pain. A couple of cool more features about the doors is it has like molly panel built in with riv nuts, which I'm definitely going to be making use of, probably especially on that side. It has a window here and on the tailgate side, which is going to be good, especially when we're cooking in here, just to make sure it doesn't stink out the tent upstairs. And I think that one, even if we open it while we're driving, we might be able to use to pressurize the whole canopy a little bit more to reduce the dust, keep it a bit cleaner. And then we'll go around to the back. My new little tire swing away arm. I'll quickly just pop the tent up. It's got these little spring-loaded pins, which I like. The gas struts are definitely not rated for the weight of the canopy because you have to push it way harder than one with the correct gas struts. But the bungee cord is good, seems good quality. So I just quickly popped it up to show you how massive the scale of the entire thing is. Like I'm 194 centimeters. I'm assuming plus like another half a meter or almost a meter. And the top is still a very long way away from the top of my hand. Now we'll come in and we'll actually hop in there and I'll show you what it's like on the inside. And you have your back door, same as the sides, but way more open. So there's nothing to knock your head on as you're climbing through to the back. And then the main event, the main reason we got this is the doors here that you literally just push up, And now I can stand in here. So this is kind of what I was talking about before. We can stand up in here. It's not like the most amount of headroom. We could probably even get rid of these gas struts and then we'd be able to have maybe another, I mean, we could make it go pretty much straight up vertical. And honestly, I don't know if we need this on gas struts because we could just have a little loop up there, which I might actually do, or I might test to see if I could do all I need to do is undo the gas struts. But the main purpose isn't really to stand up in here. It's on the side that Lauren, the camera lady, is sitting on. Down there will be our bench, but it means we can sit like how I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting on the edge, so I'll be a little bit further forward. But it just means that we can sit up in here and cook comfortably and not have to worry about crouching down to hit anything, to not hit anything, I should say. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is the quality of the canvas. Obviously cheap imported, you don't know how good the canvas actually is. Like it feels quite thin, so we should be able to replace that if we really wanted to, and if the canvas sucks in the rain or whatever. That's the only really thing I've seen so far that I'm not extremely confident in, but everything else I'm pretty happy with. So the bed just comes down like that. Watch your elbow. Bed comes down like that. I'm gonna climb up now. We'll be able to stand on the kitchen bench top that will be down there or on the seat. So the bed on this part, without the little foot section down, is probably about 1.6-ish meters. And then you have this little trapdoor section that drops down. I'm gonna put some rubber there so that doesn't keep making that loud slamming. And then we have a full 2.5 meter rooftop tent length bed. Mattress honestly is not the worst I've ever seen in a rooftop tent. I think one of the very first things we're doing is seeing if our mattress topper that we used to use in our bush bark will fit up here and still close in. I don't mind if it's a little bit squishy to close it all up because the latches that are on these are not just your normal like pull over latches where the little tab can bend, 2 sections on either side, so they seem very like robust. So I shouldn't be bending those. And then the windows on each side are massive. And the front one is also massive. It did come with a zip-in thermal insulation layer that covered everything, but we took it out because we're in Australia. Well, we're in Western Australia, I should say. A little bit of organization on the head. And it even has an LED strip that goes the full way around. I haven't even tested that yet, but I do really want to put maybe like down in this corner here, some like maybe a little 3 USB bar thing that will go down into the Energize battery system, a little extra pockets. But yeah, honestly, it's kind of everything that I wanted and more. And it looks really cool filming up here as well because there is so much natural light coming in. And if you like this video, you're gonna like this one over here where I talk about 10 things you need to know before building your dream touring setup. And if you're keen to see my new rear fit out that's going in my canopy camper, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can see that when it comes out next week, hopefully.